Hi, welcome to another video on my walking robot Mirft2 based on the fischertechnik TXT controller. Last time I started with an oops and I ended with an oops or question. And the oops I started with was the controller not straight booting into its firmware. Well, guess what happens when I boot it again? The same thing. So before I can do anything, I will have to turn it off, turn it on again, and yes, it is once again the original firmware. The SD card is sticking out. This looks better. Which also means I can't use the computer and I will have to use my Android tablet to connect to it. And apart from that, this seems to be fine now. Another point, and I ended with that the last time, is that I added a green LED. Well, not a green LED, I added an LED which is connected to output 8, and I thought it was connected to counter 3, and it didn't do anything. Now I did take a closer look at the wiring schedule, wiring schematics of an example that uses this LED connected to this region. Turns out, when you look very carefully, that it actually is not connected to the counter, but to the ground at the left side. So using this LED as a test for the counter is absolutely no use. So with that conclusion, or better said, with that knowledge, I take it completely off. It's no use for my experiment. And the question is then, what next? Well, what is next is that I will try to get one of the sensors, and I will likely use this one, to move that from input 1 to the counter. Now, I have no idea what the result will be, but since the left side of the input is mass anyway, and the right side of the counter is mass, then well, the conclusion is pretty simple. Does it work or doesn't it? So I have to reprogram it a little and then see what happens. So first I am going to take this away. Well, not entirely away, of course. I will reroute this to first to see if anything works. So this will be C3, and then of course the wire has to be to be in the connector, so I'll have to fix that. And this one is going here. and then we'll see after reprogramming it how it will work. But first I have to fix this wire. Now with the sensor wire fixed and relocated from input 1 to let's say C3, which is in the software C2. Let's see how the software can be adapted. So back to the Android tablet. Oh, very nice. Alright. Then this is a fixed password. I'm in fischertechnik TXT, as you can read. If you can read it. Then alright, I have to find the source code. And here we are. So we have counter 1, which is not connected right now, but we have 2 and 3. And if you look here, only 2 and 3. The counter or the sensor that was previously connected to I1 is now on C3, which is 2 in the code. So yes, we can actually do something and try out whatever happens. And for that, once again, I have to lift it by hand, give enter, press alright, so yeah, this is better. So let's do it again. Always take care that the wire doesn't obstruct one of the legs. Let's go again. That sounds better. Now counter 2 says 3. What was it before? 1. So when I press it again, it should be 3. Yes. And when I don't push it again, it should remain 3. Yes. Now I push it again, it should be 4. Definitely. So that works. It definitely counts that pulse. What does that say? That I now can actually reconnect these wires from motor to its actual position on 1 and 2, or C3, which is C2 in the code, and move these wires to C2, which is 1 in the code, and then see what happens. So first I have to pull this one out. That is one. It's 2. This one has to go in here, and this one has to go. It's all very small. tight wires. Anyway, that is it. Now keep in mind that the wires stay free, which also means that I have to recode a bit. So now I have to recode the input to C2, no, C1. This is the code again. Here I read it. This is good. And I only have to add it right here. So counter 1 this will be, and this will be 1 as well. Going up to check 2, 3, 1, well that's okay, and 2, 3, 1, I'm fine with this. So, time to check. Lifting it off the ground again. Running and pressing the sensor. Now, counter begin is 1, counter end is 0. Really? I don't believe that. So, but then again, this is one of the supposedly wrong counters, so let's do it again. Press it. 0, 0. And then I have a question, why is counter 2 staying at 310? Let me check both motors. Those wires are okay, those wires are alright. Let me show on camera. These wires seem okay. The wires for the upper motor seem okay, which are located right here with my thumb. So, and they look good up, so let's try again. Again lifting it, and now counter 2 should change. Yeah, they change. Alright, 430. 310 to 475. That's right. 1339 to 1651. That's okay. Counter end, counter 1 is staying 0. And let me try to scroll back. Can I scroll back? Yes, I can. Oh joy. How far can I scroll back anyway? Not far enough. Alright. This in fact shows that on this firmware, the official TX 2013 firmware version 423, counter 1 doesn't work correctly. where it did respond clearly on counter 2, it doesn't on this one. One more try. And that's a definite 0. And with that I think that counter 0 does not have to be tested, because that will be the same. Then I will go back to the community firmware to check that one in this way. And to show the change from this firmware to the community firmware, I have to exit here the terminal. Which also means I will have to go to the laptop for connection. This is ending. Also, I'll have to power down controller. And then reinsert the SD card. And power it up. And in the meantime I have to show you that there is another problem, which is that with this wheel, this part of the, well, not wheel of course, but a 6-spoke leg, this one is frequently sliding out. So I have to find a solution for this. And it may be that here I will use another spoke like this one, but I'm not quite sure how to deal with it exactly. Anyway, apart from this issue, fire it up. And this should be, yes, the community edition. With its own firmware, with its own IP address. So I will change to laptop and remote login. Is this working? Yes, it is. So let me first try to fix this for a moment. It has been doing this for a while, but so far no big issue, but now it starts to get annoying. It just too easily goes in and out. There goes another spoke. Alright, now I see that this one has gone. Alright, fixed for now. I have to keep in mind the power wire, power line. So this is it, and let's see how this situation will behave on this community firmware. So now I am about to log in into the community firmware. Oops, password mistake. That's better. And as previously, I won't disclose this password. So let's first edit this one. Which basically means that I have to add a counter here, which is 1 and 1. And here as well. Apart from that, you will have noticed that when running the the 423 firmware, the official one, there wasn't any sound, so that is still bothering me. Why does it play sound and when and then not? I don't like that at all. Yeah, front sensor is of course no longer applicable for the time being, because I have put front sensor 1 as input 1, and input 1 I have relocated to counter 1. So this won't do anything anymore. This one still will. So sensor 1, front sensor 1 will no longer respond. That said, let us test something, which also means that I have to lift it with my arm. So I have to be, and now there's a problem because I have to touch that front sensor, of course, in order to get a possible reading. So some more preparation. Get rid of the camera for now. So press enter and press the sensor. Counter 1 is 0, counter 1 end is end. Really? Okay, those are very convincing numbers for well, at least as far as counter 2 and 3 go. Counter 1 says 0. One more attempt. Yeah, absolutely nothing. And I really do press it, I can tell you. I'm pressing it continuously. Now it says 1. So let me continue pressing it and releasing it. Really? It says 2. Now it says 2 again. One more. And I keep pressing and releasing that sensor. It keeps saying 2 now. So even the possible broken input is not consistent. Interesting. Then how does counter 0 respond? So let me do a few more tests for this, because this is rather unexpected. And I'm keeping the, now it stays on 2, and I'm pressing it faster now, more rapid. No, it ends with 2. So this result says it is not entirely broken apparently. How will counter 1 respond? And to that end I will just relocate this one to counter 1. Then I will only have to change this code into 0. So let's do that. Now I have to carefully take out the correct connector. Not going as easy. Alright, now they are connected to connector 0, which means, where is this one? Here. Replace with 0 and replace with 0. Alright, very good. Replace with 0. And by the way, the key presses are indeed R for replace and then 0. And I press $sign to jump to the end of the line. Left arrow key to go 1 position back. R for replace, 0. And then colon W for write. So now it will read the correct one, which is the first counter, and let's see how this behaves. I'm very curious. It says 2. And 1, really? And I'm pressing it no, I'm pressing it repeatedly, releasing and pressing it. Now it says 2 again, as you can see. And it stays on 2. There's no 3. Now I'm just pressing it, not releasing it. And it says 0. Now I am pressing and releasing it constantly. And it says 0 again. It says 2 again. See what happens this time. And once again 2. Conclusion, they are not entirely broken, but it's not correct either. So, what should I do? Not quite sure. It's a bit odd to see this. Very odd. And I don't know if it is, since it is consistent with both firmwares. I really do suspect the hardware by now. Unfortunately. Unless I'm doing something very wrong. But I haven't had some real feedback yet. Unfortunately. So in conclusion of this video, I took away the LED because it made no sense. I tested that front sensor here, which made an unexpected result. Here on C3, when this was on C3, it clearly counted. Here I expected 0 and it went to 2. Here I expected 0 and it went to 2. So somehow it does count. How, I don't know. And the behavior is actually the same on community firmware and on the official firmware. Does it really mean that it is broken? Who knows. Then another problem has turned up, that this needs to be fixed, and I haven't experienced the same behavior here on this side, but I expect that I need to fix that too, unless I have it is not really sliding here, but it is it is sliding here. So why is this sliding and that one isn't? Good question. Can't answer that yet. I still have to fix this one, which should be quite easy, although this wire is rather short. Apart from that, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, here another one I should fix, so I have to check them all, I think. If you like this video and my other videos, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. You can, if you don't want to subscribe, you can also follow me on Twitter. You can also see my website for more information, for my blog. You may also consider to make a small donation to keep my blog alive. See also my website for information about that. And this is obviously going to be continued. Bye bye.